From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Federal Health Minister Mark Holland is expected to table a long-awaited bill today that will pave the way for national pharmacare. It's also expected to cover birth control drugs and insulin for anyone with a health card. The bill is a key element of the political pact the minority Liberal government has with the New Democrats, but the two parties had been in a stalemate for months over the wording and the number of drugs that would be included in the launch. Immigration Minister Mark Miller is expected to hold a news conference this morning about updating some immigration measures. Radio-Canada is reporting the federal government will reimpose some visa requirements on visiting Mexican nationals in response to a massive spike in asylum claims. A Saskatchewan coroner's inquest into the death of a man who killed 11 people and injured 17 in a mass stabbing is expected to hear from its final two witnesses today.
The coroner's inquest has heard how Miles Sanderson laughed and asked Mounties how many people he killed when he was taken into custody in September 2022. The mass killer had been on the run for several days after going on a stabbing rampage on the James Smith Cree Nation and in the nearby village of Weldon. The inquest heard that while Sanderson was being detained, his knees buckled and he began to have seizures. The emergency room doctor who pronounced Sanderson dead is scheduled to provide details today. A forensic pathologist has said that Sanderson overdosed on cocaine. Kelly Miller, The Canadian Press, Saskatoon.
Local hospital officials are reporting an Israeli military strike has hit a crowd of Palestinians that were waiting for humanitarian aid in Gaza City. Gaza's health ministry says at least 70 people were killed, another 280 wounded. Israel says it is investigating. Meanwhile, the Hamas-run health ministry said today over 30,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza. The conflict erupted when Hamas-led militants stormed into southern Israel October 7th, killing 1,200 people and taking about 250 hostages. Canada is working to airdrop humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip as soon as possible. International Development Minister Ahmed Hussein's office has confirmed an active effort is underway after he'd said Ottawa was exploring new options to deliver aid. And the first private U.S. spacecraft to land on the moon broke a leg at touchdown last week before falling over. Intuitive Machines CEO Steve Altemus spoke at a press briefing hosted by NASA yesterday. He said they will power down the lander at some point today for the lunar night.
What we're going to do is kind of tuck Odie in for the cold night of the moon and see if we can't wake them up here when we get the solar noon here in about 3 weeks.
Mission Director Tim Crane says it's uncertain if Odysseus will wake up in a few weeks when they try to regain contact. He said the extreme cold of the lunar night could crack the electronics and kill the batteries. He tweeted, "Lunar night is no joke. Imagine leaving your favorite electronics outside for 14 nights in Antarctica." This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Connor McDavid picked the perfect time to rediscover his scoring touch. McDavid scored the overtime winner and added 2 assists as the Oilers beat St. Louis 3-2. McDavid's 22nd goal snapped a 10-game scoring drought. The other Oilers goals both came from Zach Hyman. The night's only other game in the NHL saw the New York Rangers get their 11th win in 12 games, 4-1 over Columbus. In the NBA, the Toronto Raptors saw their 3-game winning streak end with a 136-125 loss to the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic had 30 points, 11 rebounds, and 16 assists in leading Dallas to that victory. Kyrie Irving contributed 29 points for Dallas. Emmanuel Quickley scored a team-high 28 points for the Raptors. Canadian Jamal Murray scored 32 points, and Nikola Jokic had a triple-double in just 3 quarters, and the Denver Nuggets beat the shorthanded Sacramento Kings 117-96. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.